All right, everybody, welcome to the next game in the NBC 1973 NBC Game of the Week, National League style today, as we have the Houston Astros taking on the Los Angeles Dodgers. Dodgers are only 2 games in back of the Giants, so it's a very important game for them. As I go to the Strat-O-Matic computer, let me double check and see what we show on the up-to-date stats, or not stats, but up-to-date standings. As soon as the Strat-O-Matic computer will open up for me. Here we go. All right, so as we stand, the Giants are 82-51. They lead the Dodgers, who are 81-54, by 2 games. Houston is 9 games back at 75-62. So important game for both teams. I don't really know if the Astros are still in it, but the Dodgers certainly are, only 2 games back. So definitely Dodgers looking forward to try to keep pace with those Giants, or maybe even overtake them. Hello, Brandon. How are you doing? Let me make sure. And I split the benches and bullpen rosters on both sides of the clipboard, so hopefully they show up better. Not taking up so much space horizontally, more vertically. But I think that gives me more room to do that. And it looks like everything, as best I can tell, is showing up okay. The only thing I don't know about is this lamp light. I might dim the lamp light if it looks like it's too bright. So let me try it without the light and see if that makes it too dark or not. I think not having the light might actually be better. That's what I'm thinking anyway. So I think I'm going to go with that, not doing the light. All right, some reason it looks like it's tilted, so let me see if I can. I think my phone was tilted in the holder. I went the wrong way. Let me go the other way. Okay, see if I can correct this. Go through this every week, unfortunately. There we go. I think that's what I was looking for right there. So let's move this over just a touch, and I think we'll be all set to go. Houston won the game in real world 2-0 over the Dodgers. Starting pitchers for today's game for the Astros, it is Jerry Royce. He was 16-13 with a 3.74 ERA. Andy Messersmith for the Dodgers, 14-10 with a 2.91 ERA. Pitcher-catcher quotients are both 0. Messersmith is a +1, but Yeager is a -1. Royce is a -2, but Edwards is a +2. So both cases there, we end up with nothing going on. The only thing I didn't do yet, I thought I had done, but I guess I hadn't done it, was the ballpark effects. So let me get the ballpark effects out there, and we'll just roll that on live stream here and get it all straightened out. Let's see here. Dodgers. Oh, that's American League. Let's go to National League. Dodgers. 1-16 and 1-10. So lefties on singles. Where do I want to put that? I'll put it down here. Singles, lefties are 1-16. Righties are 1-10. And for home runs at Dodger Stadium, 1-11 for both. So don't know why the singles are split when the home runs are equal. Not quite sure about that. All right, RJL, good to see you. I know you got a big game coming up with the Canes and the Gators later on that you'll be probably very interested in. That's why I'm bumping this up to 11 a.m. is to try to get most of the game done, if not all of it, before all the big college games start. Dodgers are the home team, so we go with the Dodger-colored dice. There you see the lineups and the benches and bullpens for both teams. And I think we're just about ready to get going here. So Andy Messersmith finishing up the warm-up tosses. And leading off will be right fielder Bob Gallagher. Gallagher, the right fielder, will lead things off for the Dodgers. It was, Brandon. I had a good time. I mean, he wanted to do the World Series solo, which was fine by me. It frees up my schedule a little bit more. So, but I thoroughly enjoyed the 69 replay with him, the co-op. That was pretty fun, I must admit. And it was also fun to shut him out 3 games in a row and not have the Twins score a single run in a 3-game series. I didn't even use the bullpen. It was a 3 complete game outings. So, anyway, Here we go. Messersmith to Gallagher. That's a 5-6 against a left-hander, and that's a fly to center field. One down. Gallagher is retired. And that will bring up the shortstop, Roger Metzger. So hopefully with the lamp light out, it's still light enough where you can see everything. Maybe could get a little closer, but I don't want to lose too much of the peripheries. I'll try to get a little closer maybe. See if that helps. As soon as I spin the phone around so where it's not at an angle. Hello, Alan. How are you doing? So I think that, yeah, I think that will do a little bit better. I'm a little bit closer. Some of the dice tower does get cut off, though. So let's bring this over here and see if that helps. I think that's as close as I can get without losing the peripheries here. So we will have to go with it. All right. Hello, Rodolfo. Good to see you. All right. So Roger Metzger. 3-6 for Metzger against the right-hander is a ground ball to second. And that's 2 away, rather. 2 up and 2 down, and that's going to send up Cesar Cedeno, center fielder. Messersmith to Cedeno. I can move the pitcher card over a little bit more, give me more room here. I do have this extra room right here, so that helps. Messersmith 1-8, and that's a regular single. There's a clutch there, but of course we're not in a clutch situation. So Cedeno reaches, and he's a threat to run for sure. In advanced, he's a double-A stealer. In super advanced, he needs a 2 through 6 or an 11 to get the lead. So he's going to try for it. 2 through 6 or an 11. That is a 5, which qualifies as a 2 through 6. So he starts as a 19, being held as a 17. The quotient is a 0. So 1 to 17, he'll make it. And he does. Stolen base for Cedeno. He gets in scoring position with 2 outs. It's now a clutch situation for Bob Watson. Cedeno stole 56 bases on the 73 season, caught 15 times. First havoc roll for Messersmith. Nothing happening. Here's Bob Watson in left field today. He's a 5 plus 3 and an E11, so they're going for his bat, not for his defense. 6-5, and that's an in-home run chance, 1 to 8, but that's a 15. It will be a double. RBI double for Bob Watson. He's in there for his bat, not his defense, even though that one came off the pitcher card. But it's 1-0 Astros as they take the lead. RBI double. And that'll bring up Doug Rader. Watson will not be held at second, obviously. So Messersmith trying to get out of it just one run as a damage. 3-9 for Rader is a strikeout. 3-8 would have been a pop-up to short with a clutch hit, and that would have scored Bob Watson. But we got a 3-9 instead, which was a strikeout to end the inning. So a run on 2 hits, no errors, and 1 left. Go to the bottom of the first. It's Houston 1 and the Dodgers coming to bat. And left-handed tossing Jerry Rolls-Royce on the mound for the Astros. And he will be facing leadoff man Lee Lacy for some reason. Davey Lopes is injured, I believe, at this. Showing as he is being injured, so he's not even on the bench. So I guess he's injured, and that's why Lee Lacy is in there. Hello, Doug. No, I'm a college football fan. Hello, Kenyon. I'm a college football fan. That's why I bumped us up to 11 o'clock. Because I want to get, just after this is over, I want to go down and start watching some college football. All right, here's Royce. 4-6 to a right-hander is a strikeout. So Rolls-Royce rolling on the first play, striking out Lacy. Here's Manny Mota. 6-10, right-handed. Ground ball third base X, their first X chance. Doug Rader is a 1E27, so you know he's going to get to it. It's just a matter of if there's an error or not. And on an E27 as a third baseman, he has to avoid 9, 12, 15, 16, 17, and 18. So basically 15 through 18, a 9, and a 12. That's what he's trying to avoid. Trying to avoid 15 through 18 and a 9 and a 12. So 8 is perfectly fine. So Doug Rader makes the play. 2 down for Tom Paciorek. Probably more well known as being a sidekick of Hawk Harrelson on the White Sox telecast for several years. Let's see, 5-12 against a right-hander. Ground ball pitcher X. Royce is bad. He's a 5E16. So it's not a very good chance that Royce is going to make this play. A 5. And as a pitcher with a 5, he's going to have 7 or higher on the D20 to get to this. He does. It's a 9, so it will be a G3. His error chance is an E16, so he's got to avoid 4, 9, 12, 16, and 17. 4, 9, 12, 16, and 17. And that is a 10, so he's good to go. So despite being shaky, he does make the play. 3 up and 3 down. And if the focus is a little bit blurred because of that, I will fix it real quick. Putting those charts out there can cause that to happen. Don't want that happening on my watch. So here we go. Top of the second. And it'll be Lee May leading things off against Messersmith. One nothing Astros. 3-7 against Messersmith is a strikeout. So back-to-back strikeouts. Yes, this channel is cheap. I don't have 4K camera. I have a 2-year-old smartphone. That's what I'm going by because I'm cheap. All right, Messersmith to Edwards. 4-7 left-handed is another strikeout. 3 strikeouts in a row by Messersmith. He has gotten into the groove. And here's Tommy Helms. 5-5, right-handed, struck him. He strikes out the side. That's 4 in a row, going back to last inning. And we go to the bottom of the second, still 1-0. So he's righted the ship, but he needs his team to come up with some offense. And now Royce will be facing Joe Ferguson, right fielder and backup catcher. But Yeager's catching, and Ferguson's in right field for this one. Normally, the right fielder would have probably been either Crawford or Joshua or something like that, but with the lefty on the mound, they wanted an extra right-handed bat. All right, 6-4 to a right-handed hitter. 6-4 is a ground ball shortstop X. That's Roger Metzger. Metzger is a 1 E14, so we know he's going to get to it with a 1. With nobody on base, you don't have to roll the D20. That's automatic. He's going to get it with the 1. But we're checking shortstop error. He is an E14, so he needs to avoid 4, 15, and 17. That's the 3 numbers to avoid. 4, 15, and 17 are his targets to avoid. And he didn't avoid it. That's a 15. So on a 15, E14 and a 15, that's a 1-base error on Roger Metzger, E6. And Ferguson will reach. Hello, Mr. Clinton. How are you doing? Good to see you here. All right, so Ferguson will not be held on. Obviously, does not a very good base runner. So he will not be held on. And here's Mr. Clean, Steve Garvey. We'll do the havoc roll, though. Nothing happening. Royce to Garvey. 3-9 for Garvey against a lefty is a ground ball second base C, so the runner will advance to second base. So Ferguson goes to second. 1 away for the Penguin, Ron Say. Or if you're Michael Jackson and Paul McCartney, it's Ron Say, Say, Say. Royce, 4-11 against a right-hander. Fly ball left field X. Left, and that's bad because that's Bob Watson. He's a 3E11. I'm sorry, a 5E11. So talk about having issues. A 5E11 on a 5. And the only way he catches this ball is if the D20 is a 16 or higher. Other than that, it's going to drop in for a base hit. So he's got to get a 16 or higher. And he gets a 16. How do you like that? 16 is an F1, but the runner's going to advance. Even if he makes the catch, the runner will advance on an F1. He is an E11, so he's got to avoid 4. He's got to avoid 3, 4, 13, 15, 16, and 18. Those are the numbers he has to avoid. That's a 9. That's good all day long. So it will be a fly out to left, but Ferguson will take third. It's hit that deep, and the arm is so bad that he will take third base. But now there are 2 outs, so he can get out of the jam, pitching to Bill Russell, shortstop. Yeager on deck. 1, though, a wild pitch could bring home the run, and he's a 7. 1-7 for a wild pitch. Not going to be a wild pitch. It's blocked by the catcher, Johnny Edwards. So here's Royce to Russell. 3-5 left-handed is a ground ball back to Royce, and that's going to end the inning. No runs, no hits, 1 error, and 1 left at the end of 2. It is still 1-0 Stros. And the Dodgers 2 games behind the Giants in the standings, so they definitely don't want to lose any more ground if they can avoid it. At least you would think they wouldn't. Messersmith now will face Royce. He's the leadoff man. He's using pitcher hitting card number 2, and he does bat left-handed. Hello, Tom. How are you doing? 2-4. 2-4 is going to be a single. A single for Jerry Royce off the pitcher card. How about that? A 2-4. Solid single. No doubt about it. Of course, he will not be held. And Bob Gallagher, top of the order, is back. Flew to center his first time up. We get a 110 against a right-hander. It's a ground ball second base B, fielder's choice. 4-6 on the putout as Lacey throws to Russell, and Gallagher is the new runner at first base. He's not being held either. Doesn't run well at all. Here's Roger Metzger. That's a 1, so a wild pitch chance for Messersmith is a 1-5. And it will not be, as that's blocked by Yeager. Messersmith 6-11 against a switch hitter batting left is a ground ball second base A. And that is your typical 4-6-3 double play to end the inning. Astros get a hit, but nothing else. And we go to the bottom of the third, still 1-0. Pitcher's best friend, the double play. And now, Jerry Royce back out. We'll face Steve Yeager, Andy Messersmith, and Lee Lacey. That's the lineup for the Dodgers. 112 for Yeager. That's a ballpark blast. And it's 1-11 for home runs. That is an 11. It is long and it is gone. Home run, Steve Yeager just barely scales the outfield wall. But it's good enough. Look at it again, 112. That's a ballpark blast. Home runs for right and left-handers are 1-11, and that is an 11. So Yeager ties the game with that blast. And now here is Messersmith using pitcher hitting card number 2. 3-3 is going to be a ground ball to third. 1 away. And we'll flip the order over to Lee Lacey. Struck out his first chance. Hello, Gerald. How you doing? Ron, good to see you. 1-6 against a lefty for Lacey is a fly to center. And that is out number 2. 2 down for Manny Mota. We get a 5-7 right-handed. That's a strikeout. That's going to end the inning. But the home run from Steve Yeager has tied this game. At the end of 3, we are tied at a run apiece. Here on the NBC Game of the Week. Dodgers in pursuit of the Giants. They trail by 2 games as we head into Labor Day. So they got a month to make up 2 games. I'm sure they have head-to-head matchups as well. That will be coming up. So now Messersmith back out, and he'll be facing Cesar Cedeno. He singled, stole second, and scored. The only Astro run of the game. His first time up. Hello, Doug. If I missed you earlier. 2-9, and that's going to be a ground ball to third. 1 away. That'll send up Bob Watson. 5-8, and that's a ground ball second base X. Lee Lacey is a 3-E-30. So that could be a problematic. For a 3, he needs to get a 4 or higher. That shouldn't be too much of a problem, you would think. Well, it's a 1. That evil D20 keeps coming up as a 1 all the time, so it's a base hit. And now he's also an E30. So at second base, E30, he's got to avoid 12, 15, 17, and 18 to not make matters worse. And he does, but it's a base hit. Base hit for Bob Watson. He's 2 for 2, and that's why he's in there. He's not in there for his defense. He's in there for his offense. Although I believe both of those just came off the pitcher card, but still. It's just the moxie of that. Well, the 67 replay is the American League pennant has been won by Detroit, and so tomorrow night, probably tomorrow night, might be tonight if I feel like it, but most likely tomorrow night, it'll be Game 1 of the World Series between the Tigers and the Cardinals. It's going to be Bob Gibson for the Cardinals against Earl Wilson for the Tigers. That is Game 1. Using as-play lineups for the Cardinals and best lineup I can make for the Tigers. All right, Messersmith to Raider. 3-9, and that's going to be a strikeout. 2 down. For Lee May. Messersmith to May. 2-3 is a ground ball to first, and that's going to end the inning. As Garvey just steps on the bag. No runs, a hit, no errors, and a man left. We go to the bottom of the fourth, still tied at 1. Both pitchers have fatigue of 8, so they are in no danger of being tired anytime soon. And Tom Paciorek will be your leadoff man for the Dodgers. Two-4. Yeah, Detroit won because the Red Sox lost their last game to the Indians, and that eliminated them. 2-4, ground ball to short. So you could say they backed into it, but not really. I mean, they certainly deserved it. So ground ball to short. I was actually surprised that Boston lasted that long after they got behind by so much. Royce to Ferguson, 5-5, and that's going to be a 1-3 triple. That's a 6, so it will be a single for Ferguson. He's aboard. He will not be held. For Steve Garvey. 1 chance for another wild pitch. And that's an 11, so it's blocked again by Edwards. 3-8 for Garvey is a ground ball to third B. It's a fielder's choice. 5-4. Garvey is your new runner, but he won't be held either. 2 down for the Penguin, Ron Say. That is correct, Kenyon. 1-6 for Say against the lefty. 1-3 is a double, and that is a 1. How many times have I been saying this in both games, inside pitch and Strat, that the 1 comes up more often than 5%? There's got to be weighted somehow. So the 1 means it's a double. Now the question is, can Garvey score? The double is assumed to go to center, so Cedeno does have a -4 arm. That could, curtail Garvey a little bit. Garvey runs it at 12. He was not being held, makes him a 13. There are 2 outs, makes him a 15. But then you get the -4, 1-11. But I still say you got to send him. I mean, it's a 55% chance, and that's better than Russell getting a hit. So they're going to send him. It's a 1-11 to be safe. And he's out. So Garvey thrown out by Cedeno with a nice relay by Metzger. It's going to go 8-6-2, and that's going to end the inning. No runs, 2 hits, no errors, and 1 left. Nice play by Cedeno. Keeps the score tied. Well, the red dye was just as bad, so. All right, so that keeps the score tied at 1 apiece after 4 innings. Tabby is in the room. She's just kind of doing her own thing right now, and I don't want to disturb her. All right, Messersmith facing the catcher, Johnny Edwards, followed by Helms and Royce. Bottom portion of the order. 2-7 against a right-hander is a strikeout. So yet another strikeout for Messersmith. Brings up Tommy Helms, number 8 hitter. He also struck out. 5-8 against a righty is a ground ball second base X. We're going back to Lee Lacy. He's a 3 with an E30. 3-8. This time I think he'll actually make the play. 3-8 is actually going to be a G3, so that's good. Good enough anyway. E30 has got to avoid 6, 8, 13, 14, 15, and 18. That's a 10, 11. That's good all day long. So he will make the play. 2 down. And it's going to bring up the pitcher, Jerry Royce. He did single his first time up on that, I believe it was a 2-4 roll that he singled on. I remember that, Clinton. They had trouble with the California Angels, and that kind of did. I still think Detroit was a better team in '67, in my opinion. I think Detroit would have beaten the Cardinals in the World Series had they had the chance. But They got the chance in my replay, so we'll see. All right, 5-10, and that's going to be a ground ball third base X. So we're looking at the Penguin Ron Say. He's a 3E21. So once again, just needs something above us. Yeah, 11 is good enough. The 11 is actually going to be with the number 3. 11 is a G2. And as a third baseman, he is an E21, so we have to avoid 6, 11, 15, 16, and 18. And we do, so 1, 2, 3 inning for Messersmith. We go to the bottom of the 5th. Still 1-1. Pitcher's duel going on. I love pitcher's duels. I like to see good pitching with timely hitting. And now Bill Russell, Yeager, and Messersmith, bottom third of the order, due up for the Dodgers. Hello, dog. How you doing? Royce, 110. Russell to the left against the lefty. 110 is a 1-3 triple. The 9 says it's just going to be a single. So that time the Devil Die didn't convert to the extra bases. Russell will have to be held. He might try to, actually he's going to try for the lead. He needs a 2 through 5 or a 12 to get the lead. And he does with a 2, so he will get the lead to steal. He's a 16, being held makes him a 14. The pitcher-catcher thing is a 0, so it's a 1-14, and Russell will steal second base. And he does. Stolen base. And it's a 3, so we've got a throwing error. I got to make sure, I believe it's 1, 2, or 3. I believe inside pitch is the 1 or the 2, but I believe the 1, 2, or 3 is where you check for catcher. Let's see here. I'm almost positive, but I do like to double check it. I don't want to make an error by mistake. When you play different games, sometimes the rules get a little bit mixed in with you there. So, yep, 1, 2. It's a 3. So 3 means the possible throwing error. We go to our T rating of the catcher Edwards, and Edwards' T rating is a 1-7. So a 1-7, he throws this away. That's a 6. He does throw it away right there. That dot there says it's a 6, so it's a throwing error on Edwards. So Russell will steal second base, and he goes to third on the E2. So he is at third base with nobody out now. So the aggressiveness pays off. And now the Astro infield will come in. Astro, hello Tim, how you doing? Yeah, because inside pitch is a 1 or a 2, I believe, to check for the things. So sometimes you play games that can be a little confusing when you go back and forth. 1 again. Royce has I tell you that D20 comes up 1 more than, it's got to be at least 10%, not just the 5%. 1-7, he wild pitches in the run. And he does. It's a wild pitch. That's going to score Russell. So how about that? He singles, steals second, goes to third on the throwing error, and then scores on the wild pitch. And the Dodgers lead it 2-1. Go figure. So base is clear now for Yeager, who homered his first time up. 3-8 to a lefty will be a strikeout. 1 away. And that will send up Messersmith using pitch rating card number 2. That is a 5-8 to a right-handed hitter, and that's a ground ball to short. 2 down. And Lee Lacy, the leadoff man, he is 0 for 2. 4-6, and that's going to be a strikeout to end the inning. So the run is definitely unearned. No question about it, but they'll take it. They get a run on a hit, a big error, and nobody left. So we go to the 6th. It's 2-1 favor of the men in blue as they try to catch the San Francisco Giants. So now Messersmith will be facing top of the order Gallagher without the, this is Gallagher without the mallet and the watermelon. So that's a different Gallagher. Messersmith to Gallagher. 6-5 left-handed. That's a 1-9 in-home run chance. He does have normal power against righties, but that's a 12, so it'll still be a double. Leadoff double for Gallagher. As he put the mallet to that one, he will not be held. And Roger Metzger, your batter. Good bunter. He could try to bunt him to third, but with nobody out, I mean, he's already in scoring position. Why waste the out? You got 3 chances to get a base hit. 2 is a chance for a balk or a pickoff. Or, I'm sorry, balk or a wild pitch. Or pass ball, rather. 2 is a chance of a balk. His balk rating is a 2. That's an 11, so no balk. Messersmith now to Metzger. 4-10, switch hitter batting left. Ground ball shortstop X. Gallagher was not being held on, so the shortstop Russell will keep his 2 E31 chances. 2 E31, so on a 2, we get a 4. 2 and a 4 is going to be a G3 pound, but he was not being held, but he will move up on the play. He'll go to third. We'll see if there's an error. Russell's an E31. They got to avoid several numbers. 4, 6, 3, 4, 6, and then 15 through 18. That's a 7. He just barely avoided it, so no error. It will be a 6-3 ground out, but the runner will go to third with 1 out for Cesar Cedeno, and now the infield's coming in for the Dodgers. They want to cut off a cheap run. Cedeno 1 for 2. 5-7 right-handed. That's a 1-8 double, and that's a 9. It will be a fly ball B, though. That's good enough for a sacrifice fly to tie the ball game at 2. So Cedeno instrumental in both of their runs, and we got a tie score at 2 apiece. Base is cleared now for Watson. Hello, Ben. Let's see, 6-6 against a right-hander. 1-9 is a single. That is a 9. So Watson is 3 for 3. Like I said, he can't play defense, but he's in there for his offense. He will not be held, and here's Doug Rader. Doug Rader. 4-2, and that's a fly to right to end the inning. But the Astros tie the game. They do it on 2 hits, no errors, and nobody left. We go to the bottom of the 6th. We are tied at 2. Nip and tuck here in Dodger Stadium. Chavez Ravine, and that'll bring up Manny Mota to start the bottom of the 6th, rather. Manny Mota. Mota is 0 for 2 with a strikeout. That's a 5-8 against a right-hander. It's a ground ball to short. Metzger handles it. 1 away. Mota is gone. He's 0 for 3. Here's Pashork. Dodgers have a lot of good left-handed hitters on the bench, so if the Astros go to a right-handed reliever, you can expect some pinch hitting to go on. Royce to Pashork. 4-4 right-handed. Catcher X, that's Edwards. He's a 3 E4. But nobody's on base, so there's no chance of any pass balls or anything. So with the 3 for a catcher, you just have to basically avoid a 1 to get an out. And he does. It's a 12, which lines up to be a foul out as long as there's no error. He's an E4. He's got to avoid 16, 17, and 18. He didn't. That's an 18. It's a 2-base error on a foul out. Not sure how that happens, but I'll look at the chart again. Remember, 18, E4 catcher, and 18 is a 2-base error. So we go to P/F on the chart with an error, E2. Catcher drops a foul pop for an error. Play resumes with the same batter at bat. So it won't be a 2-base error. It's just going to be a pop-up that's foul that's dropped. So Pashork will continue the at-bat, but it is going to be counted as an E2. I'm sorry, E2. So I'll write that in here just to note that there was an error on Edwards on the foul out. Don't see that happen very often in these games. 6-7 right-handed is a ground ball second base X. We're back to Lee Lacy. He is a 3. 3 and a 20, he'll get to that. Now the question is, will he make the error? And as an E30, got to avoid 12, 15, 17, and 18. That is a 14, so he manages to avoid it to get out of that. So that makes up for the error on Yeager. I'm sorry, the error on Edwards is now nullified because of that. So there's 2 out spaces clear. And now Royce, 310 to Ferguson. That's a ballpark single check, 1 to 10 for right-handers. That's an 11. So he will line it to short, and that's going to end the inning. Nothing doing for the Dodgers. We go to the 7th. We are tied at 2. Tied at 2. Messersmith will be facing Lee May, Johnny Edwards, and Tommy Helms here in the top of the 7th of a 2-2 game. Messersmith 5-4. That's another catcher X. Yeager is a 2E6. Basically, he needs to avoid a 1, which barely he did. That 1 almost came over there. And he is an E6. And that is a 7. That should be okay. E6 and a 7 is good all day long. The 10 was, and he's an E, or he's a range of 2. So 10 is a foul out. So he fouls out to Yeager for 1 away. That brings up Johnny Edwards, catcher. He's 0 for 2. He struck out twice. That's a 4-6 against a left-hander. That's a 1-4 single, but that's a 20, so he grounds it to Garvey. 2 away for Tommy Helms. 7th inning stretch is just about upon us. Messersmith 2-3, and that's going to be a foul out to Yeager. Easy 1-2-3 inning for Messersmith. And we have reached the 7th inning stretch. It's only been 36 minutes according to the laptop I'm looking at, so that's pretty good. To get to the 7th inning stretch in 36 minutes is kind of chugging along, which is good. Don't like to mess around if you don't have to. So before we start the bottom of the 7th, I will stretch a little bit and also give a cheap plug for games that are going to be coming up in the next 2 weeks on the NBC Game of the Week. And as soon as I get this fixed the way I would like it, I can show it. And it's in a raw form, so we'll have to deal with it. It's not the finalized product yet, but it's close enough to show, even though it's a little bit not completed. Next week, it's the Detroit Tigers and the Boston Red Sox, not 1967, but 1973, as the Red Sox now trail the Orioles by 4 games, and they're trying to catch up in the American League East. And then 2 weeks from today, it'll be the Pittsburgh Pirates visiting the St. Louis Cardinals in that one. So that's the games coming up for the next 2 weeks on the NBC Game of the Week. That's what we have to look forward to there. So that's what's coming up. Now let me see something. Did I leave something down here? What did I do with those? I had a piece of paper and now I'm trying to figure out what I did with it. I got so much stuff over here I don't know on this chair. I don't know what's what. Here we go. Here we go. Okay, got it. And coming up, I've got the benches and bullpens for the first 3 games of the Tigers-Cardinal series in the inside pitch. Tigers will host games 1 and 2, and St. Louis will host game 3. Starting pitchers for Detroit in each game are right-handed for the first 3 games. It's going to be Wilson, followed by who did I say I have? Wilson and Sparma. Okay, so it's Wilson, Sparma, and Denny McLain are the first 3 starters for Detroit. Mickey Lolich will start game 4. So I'm using the exact lineups that the Cardinals used because they face right-handed pitching in Boston. Boston did not have a left-handed starter. So when Mickey Lolich pitches, I looked at what the Cardinals did with lefties many of the times. So we're going to have Alex Johnson replace Roger Maris in right field when Lolich pitches in game 4. So that's the way that goes. That's the upcoming for the 67. All right, so we're all set now. Tabby's resting. She doesn't want to be disturbed, so we'll leave her alone. Bottom of the 7th we go, and it's Mr. Garvey, leadoff man, against Jerry Royce. Let me fix the focus in case putting all that paper on there messed something up. Let's make sure we get the best focus I can get on it. And here's Royce. 410 against a right-hander is a fly ball center field X. That is Cedeno. He's a 1, so you know he's going to get to it. It's the E9, so we're checking for an E9 possibility. Center fielder, E9. And the only way a center fielder with an E9 makes an error, there's 5 numbers, 3, 4, 14, and 17, and 18. And that's a 7, so he makes the play easily. 1 down. For Ron Say. That's a 3-7, left-handed, fly to center. So Cedeno makes the play again. 2 up and 2 down. Here's Russell. He's been havoc for them. He scored what at the time was the go-ahead run. Royce, 4-3. Ground ball first base X. That's Lee May. He's a 3-E9. 3-E9. So as a 3 first baseman, has to have a 5 or higher to get to this. And he does, barely. It's G3. So he's going to get to it and flip to Royce. Let's see if there's an error or not. He's an E9. He's got to avoid 7, 14, 17, and 18. And it's a 7, so it's an error on Lee May right here, first baseman, and he's an E9, and the 7 is right there, the first number in the E1 category. So he gets to it, but he boots the throw to Royce, and it's going to be a E3. So Russell has been on base when a couple of errors have occurred. Royce did keep it from getting away from him, so Russell had to stay at first base. But he did all that havoc last time, so they're going to try to get the lead again. Needs a 2 through 5 or a 12. Does not get the lead this time, so he has to hold. And that will bring up Yeager. He's homered and struck out. Royce, 4-10 to a right-hander, is a fly ball center field X again. And once again, Cedeno with 2 outs, you know he's going to get to it. So it doesn't matter what kind of, if it's an F2 or an F3. He's just looking at the E9 in center field and making sure he avoids 3, 4, 14, 17, and 18. And that is a 14, and he did not avoid it. Look at this. Center fielder an E9, a 14 is an E2. 2-base error on Cedeno. Astros fielding has just gone to pot. And so an E8 2-base error puts runners at second and third with 2 outs for the pitcher, Messersmith. You would think possibly about pinch hitting here, but Messersmith's pitching pretty well. And this is 1973, not 2023. So here comes Messersmith. Royce trying to avoid a wild pitch as well. Does do that, but he's got to get his team to stop making errors. That's the 4th error committed by the Astros. 4 errors in this game. Royce, 5-4 to a right-handed swinging Messersmith. That's a ballpark single check, which is a 1-10, and that's a 1. It's going to be a base hit by Messersmith, and the Dodgers will take the lead. 3-2. Yeager takes third base. It's a 1-base advancement. But the Dodgers now lead it 3-2 against the Astros, and now the Astros have the bullpen going. Looks like a right-hander is loosening in the pen for the Astros. Looks like it's going to be, well, they don't really have a set closer. They had a lot of guys that did a lot of different things. They weren't very good, actually. Boy, Jimmy Ray is going to be loosening the bullpen for the Astros. Jimmy Ray. Right now it is Lee Lacy with Messersmith at first not being held. Royce, 6-7, Ground ball, second base X. Boy, these X chances are killing the Astros. Helms a 2E10. 2E10. 2 and a 4. Let's see if he can get to that. 2 and a 4. A 2 and a 4 is a G3 pound, but I don't think anybody, obviously they're not holding on Messersmith, so he will get to it. Now he's got to worry about the error. He's an E10. Got to avoid 4, 16, 17, and 18. That's a 16. That's going to be the 5th Houston Astro error of the game. E10, 16 is right there as an E1. That is the 5th Houston Astro error. 3rd this inning. And Royce just can't catch a break. All these runs are unearned. It is now 4-2. Messersmith will take second base with Lacey at first and 2 outs for Manny Mota. Royce is scheduled to lead off next inning. They like to go ahead and get him through the inning. Really, it's not his fault. It's the bad fielding with all these errors. Here's Royce. 4-5, and he finally got out of it with a fly to right to end the inning. But 2 runs, none of them earned on just 1 hit, but there were 3 errors and 2 left. So we go to the 8th inning. It's 4-2 Dodgers, and that's all for Jerry Royce. His day is done. He will be pinch hit for, and Ray will come in to pitch in the bottom of the 8th. Jimmy Ray. Jimmy Ray was 6-4 with a 4.43 ERA and 6 saves. So Jimmy Ray will be the new pitcher for the Astros. Now they need a pinch hitter. And the only lefty they have is Stewart. But he's a 191 hitter, so they're going to have to go to the right-handed side. Jimmy Wynn's got the power, but not much of an average. So, boy, they're just... The best hitter they have off the bench average-wise is Gary Sutherland, so they'll go with him. 259 average. They want to save Wynn when they might need a home run. So Sutherland will be the pinch hitter against Messersmith, and this is his point of weakness inning. So Sutherland will get the call to pinch hit, and then Jimmy Ray will pitch in the bottom of the 8th. For Royce, he goes 7 innings, only gives up 5 hits, 4 runs, but only 2 of them are earned. And let's see, walks and strikeouts. You know, he did not walk a single batter. Six errors on the game on the Astros. I forgot about the foul ball error on Edwards. It didn't come into play, but there's been 6 errors on the Astros right now. 6 errors. Unbelievable. So no walks. Strikeouts, 1, 2, 3, 4. Got him for 4 strikeouts, and he's on the hook for the loss. So Sutherland will lead it off, followed by Gallagher and Metzger here in the top of the 8th of a 4-2 game. Messersmith, 5-6 to a right-hander, is a fly to center. 1 away, and Sutherland is retired. Brings up Gallagher. He doubled and scored his last time up. 6-7 lefty is a walk. He will not be held. In fact, you wonder why they had him lead off. He's not a very good base runner. He didn't steal any bases. He got caught once, and his on-base percentage was .275. Makes you wonder why they hit him lead off, but whatever. That's what they wanted. All right, here is Metzger. Messersmith to Metzger. 6-8 switch hitter, and that's a strikeout. 2 down for Cedeno. He does have the pop to tie the game with 1 swing of the bat, so Messersmith has to be careful. 3-8, and that's going to be a fly to center. That's going to end the inning. So Messersmith goes 8 innings. He only gave up a walk, so he's still good to try to finish the game. And Jimmy Ray will be your pitcher for the Astros. Due up for the Dodgers is Pashorek, Ferguson, and Garvey. So Pashorek will lead things off. Center field. Now he's a 3, so the Dodgers might be looking to bring in a better defender and a pinch hitter at the same time. And they will. Willie Davis will pinch hit for Pashorek and stay in the game to play center field. He is a 1. So Willie Davis is going to pinch hit. He's a 1, -1 E8. So Willie Davis will pinch hit for Pashorek, and he will also stay in the game to play center field. Helps their offense and helps their defense in one swoop of the bat. Ray, 4-6 to the lefty, is a walk. Not what they wanted to have happen. Walks Willie Davis to start the bottom of the 8th, and he's going to try to get the lead. Needs a 2 through 5 to get the lead. He does not, so he will hold fast. Brings up Ferguson. They're not going to pinch hit for Ferguson because he is the backup catcher, and if something happens to Yeager, they got to have somebody to catch. So, and Ferguson's not exactly a bad right fielder. Not great, but he's not horrible. Nothing on that. Here's Ray to Ferguson. 1-9, and that's a strikeout. 1 away for Garvey. Ray to Garvey. 3-4, and that's a fly ball to right field B. I think I messed up the focus there somewhere. No, they got messed up, so let's fix that real quick. 3-4 is a fly ball right field B. So 2 away for Ron Say. Dodgers do have bullpen action. They have Jim Brewer, a lefty, and Charlie Huff, a righty, just in case Messersmith runs into issues. Davis still at first for Ron Say. 4-7, and that's another walk. So Jimmy Ray walks his second batter. Puts the speedy Davis in scoring position, which he will have to be held. And here's Russell. He's been in the middle of a lot of stuff to cause havoc. That's a 1-9, and that's a ground ball to second to end the inning. So Ray gets out of it. Ray is going to pitch, unless they tie the game, he'll pitch 1 inning. Give up 2 walks, 1 strikeout, no hits, no runs. So we go to the 9th. Going for the complete game will be Messersmith. Willie Davis is now in center field as a excellent fielder. And actually the Dodgers will make a change in right field as well. They will go ahead and substitute for Ferguson because Ferguson is a 4 range. In right field, his range is a 4, so they're going for somebody better than that. Probably Crawford or Joshua. Let's see who they've got. Crawford's a 3. So is Joshua. They're going to go with Willie Crawford. So Willie Crawford will take over for Joe Ferguson in right field. Move strictly for defense with a 2-run lead. Crawford. And he is a 3, -1, and E7. So a little bit better range, a lot better error chances, or a lot better non-error chances, I should say. So Crawford is in right field. So we got Crawford in right, Willie Davis in center as they try to shore up the outfield defense. And they're going to take out Manny Mota as well. He will also be lifted. Will Manny Mota. And he will be coming out, and coming in to play left field will be Von Joshua. And Von Joshua is a 3 as opposed to Manny Mota, who has a +3 arm. At least Joshua has a 0 arm. So Von Joshua. So Walter Alston making all sorts of little maneuvers here to try to improve his team's defense. And that trying to help out Messersmith and get him that complete game. So Messersmith will be facing Watson, Rader, and May due up for the Astros. They don't have a whole lot on the bench hitting-wise except for Jimmy Wynn. He's the only one they might bring in. But other than that, they probably don't have a whole lot. So here we go. Top of the ninth of a 4-2 ball game. Focus again just one more time, just in case. 4-2 ball game. Messersmith 2-7 to Watson is a walk. So Watson draws a walk. And he will be called back for a pinch runner for Houston, as they will call on somebody else to run. And the pinch runner, let's see who they have that can run. Not a whole lot. Jimmy Wynn's their best runner, but they want to save him as a hitter. So they're going to bring in Jimmy Stewart. He could play left field if he had to. So Stewart is on to run. Stewart runs at a 14 versus a 10. And he's a little bit better defender as well. So Jimmy Stewart, not having a wonderful life right now since they're losing, but he is there as a pinch runner. And here is Doug Rader. Dodger bullpen still active with Brewer and Huff in the bullpen. Doug Rader, the batter. That is a 2-11, and that's going to be a ground ball second base C. That'll move the runner up to second base. That'll bring up Lee May, and he can tie the game with one swing of the bat. No doubt about it. Nothing on the Havoc. Here is Messersmith to May. It's a 3-6, and that's a ground ball pitcher A. So with the runner at second, he has a chance to go to third, but why chance it? You're down by 2 runs. His run doesn't mean anything, so he will stand pat. And Johnny Edwards is your batter. But the question is, do you pinch hit for Edwards with a guy that has a better chance at a home run, or do you go with a lefty? It's a 244 hitter. Jimmy Wynn is only 220, but he's got a much better power result. But his power is mostly against left-handers, so they're going to stick with Edwards for now. 2 outs, runner at second. Runner at second not being held because his run doesn't mean anything. No reason to hold him. So Messersmith going for the complete game against Johnny Edwards. 5-7, and that's a, look at that, 5-7. 1-10's a double. That's a 4. It's going to be a double for Johnny Edwards. That will score the run and make it 4-3. Now what do you do if you're the Dodgers? 4-3, and Messersmith on the verge of tiring, and you got those guys ready in the bullpen. So who do you go to? Brewer is their closer, but the next batter is a right-handed hitter. You could go to Charlie Huff. And that's what they're going to do. They're going to pull Messersmith and go to Charlie Huff. Huff, a 4-2 record with a 2.78 ERA and 5 saves. So Charlie Huff will be in to face Tommy Helms. Mr. Huff is now in the ball game. Nice outing for Messersmith. He goes 8 2/3. And he's given up 2, 3, 4, 6, 7 hits. So far 3 runs all earned, but he is responsible for Edwards. Let's check his walks and strikeouts real quick. 1, 2. I got him for 2 walks. Strikeouts 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 strikeouts. And of course he has got a chance to get the win if Huff can hold the fort. Tommy Helms is your batter. He is a 287 hitter, so we're not going to pinch hit for him. Jimmy Wynn has picked up a bat, and he would hit for the pitcher, Ray, should Helms reach. But it's all up now to Tommy Helms and Charlie Huff. Nothing doing there. We go to Huff to Helms. 2 outs, tying run at second base. 2-2, and that's going to be a ground ball to short, and that will do it. Charlie Huff comes in and gets the final out and saves it for Messersmith. And there's your final score. It is 4-3, Dodgers. Astros won the game 2-0 in real life, but the 6 Astro errors obviously had a lot to do with that. And we'll do the totals real quick. The Dodgers did not commit an error. That's a big difference right there. Hits, the Dodgers only got 5 hits. But when you get the errors, when you get 6 errors, you don't need that many hits. 4 runs, 5 hits, no errors. The Astros, 3 runs, 7 hits, and 6 errors. Left on base, 1, 2, 4 for the Astros were left on base. Dodgers, 1, 2, 6 left on for the Dodgers. So the Dodgers win. They close the gap with the Giants to 1.5 games. In the West, I think the Astros pretty much are out of it now. They're 9.5 back, so I don't see them have much of a chance to do anything. So that's right, Clint. It's like getting 11 hits when you get those 6 errors. Well, actually, one of the errors didn't come into play because it was on a foul ball, and the next batter made it, and the same batter made it out. So really, it's 5 errors that mattered, which would really give them 10 people on base. So either way you go, it wasn't good. And then Ray walked 2 in the 8th inning to even add extra base runners. But there you go. The Dodgers defeat the Astros by the score of 4-3. Next Saturday, we'll be back to the American League. It will be the Tigers and the Red Sox. Red Sox trail the Baltimore Orioles by 5 games in the American League East. The Tigers in 3rd place, 9.5 back. And so we will have the Tigers and the Red Sox from Fenway Park. That'll be the next game on the Game of the Week on next Saturday, 11 a.m., September the 8th on the scheduling. And it will be Joe Coleman for the Tigers against the Spaceman Bill Lee for the Red Sox. That's the pitching matchup for next week. But on this week, we finish up with the Astros dropping to the Dodgers by the score of 4-3. Dodgers, again, 1.5 back of the Giants. So we'll see how by next Saturday where they are in that simming from the Strat computer. Either tonight or tomorrow night, we will have Game 1 of the 1967 World Series, an inside pitch between the Tigers and the Cardinals. Bob Gibson against Earl Wilson. Earl Wilson won 22 games in the real world for the Tigers, so he is their number 1 pitcher, and he will be facing Mr. Gibson. So, and that will be from Tiger Stadium. So I do appreciate all you guys spending part of your Saturday morning with me. As we're now into the afternoon, it's 12:06 here. I think 12:05, something like that. But I know if everybody's like me that's a college football fan, you want to get to the college games and see what's going on because noon kickoffs have just kicked off. And so, always looking forward to that. Be sure to watch RJL's game tonight in his 1969 inside pitch pennant chase. See how he's got his games going. And Tabby's just laying quietly, and I'm not going to disturb her. I'm not going to move the phone to show her. I'm just going to let her sit there in peace and have her, resting and everything. I don't want to get her all stirred up. So let's go do it from here. And again, appreciate all you guys. Sometimes they have noon kickoffs, but they don't really kick off to about 12:05, 12:10, but by the time they get through all the TV stuff. So hopefully if you go now, you won't miss much of the game whatsoever, which is why I wanted to bump it up to 11 a.m. So I do appreciate you all spending part of your Saturday afternoon with me, or Saturday morning in this case. Appreciate you have been following this the whole season. And next week, we're in Boston for Detroit against the Red Sox. Till next time, enjoy playing whatever game you choose to play, however you choose to play it, and I will see you all down the road.